Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ramblecast. Right now, it's just currently Matt and I. Chris should join us shortly. I don't remember why Jack couldn't make it.
Um,
Everybody knows the joke anyway, so just pretend he's here.
yes. He's
Matt and I. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, we were just talking music before the show as we do. Just we start off actually rambling as we say hi to each other. It's just like, so, and I legitimately could have hit record about 5 minutes ago.
I think that's true, though. I think we've always been that way, in that usually the best things we talk about are before we hit record and after we stop with the recording, because it's the stuff that's been on our mind, but we don't want it to be out in the public, and then all the naughty thoughts or all the bad thoughts that happen during the podcast that we also don't want to say live on air, they come on afterwards and we're like, fuck you, Chris.
The things we say under our breath.
Right.
I don't think I've ever said "fuck you, Chris." So.
No, I mean, me neither. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But to that point, and I've been meaning to watch the Let It Be because it's now on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I watched it.
The remastered.
I actually meant to bring that up last week.
Did you watch it?
I watched it, yeah, and I was so glad to watch it because for over 20 years I wanted to see it, but it was never been released. And I actually liked it a lot.
Okay,
but so I actually, well, no, I mean, if you've seen, Get Back, you've seen
spoilers for the music from Let It Be.
Yeah, right. No, I get why in 1970 it was not good, because people probably didn't have the context to watch it, whereas we do today.
Right.
But I liked it. I think that the director did as brilliant a job as he could to make that good, because it is. You don't see any of the negativity. It's all positive. It's literally just clips, of them jamming in the studio.
Right.
You're getting little tidbits of each.
And I mean,
great.
conceptually, they're actually, if you look at it like Abbey Road to Let It Be, which chronologically it's kind of like they did really more of the Let It Be like work before they did Abbey Road. I mean, they came back in and they recorded stuff, but so
just
depending on
things. I know, like I Mean Mine. I know.
So depending on where, I guess depending on where you are on the Beatles spectrum, as far as saying like, where you think the beginning and the end of the Beatles, occurs.
But as far as I'm concerned, the Beatles
conceptually though. At Abbey Road, I like thinking Abbey Road is, because they have the song "The End," so you get kind of like feel like, okay, this is the end.
Go ahead. Sorry,
but
you and I both have
I'm just saying, like, conceptually, Let It Be, what it was is they're trying to capture what so many of us have done and more the reality TV era, which is capturing lightning in a bottle, capturing like creation happening. So all right, we got Cool Guy back.
I did want to address Matt K's question, and what's the difference from what was released during the pandemic, or isn't it that? So Let It Be, the movie that came out in 1970, is an hour and a half. Not even sure if it's even an hour and a half. It's like an hour 20 maybe, and it's really the best snippets of that 2-week period, just kind of shown, like, you see Paul kind of come in and go, here's two of us, and they do it electric, and then all of a sudden you see them standing there doing the acoustic. And so it's just giving you little snippets of the songs they're working on at the time. It's a true documentary of just like, here's a day in the life of the Beatles. And then at the end, you see them with, everyone has seen those clips of them getting up on the roof and doing the 4 to 5 songs, and that's the film. Whereas in Get Back is what? That was like a 3-parter or 4-parter.
It was 3 parts, and weren't they weren't they like 2 hours or 3 hours long? Like they were.
That's really breaking it down day by day. Like, this is day 2 of this session. This is day 3 of this session, and you really see how they kind of come in and then descend to shit, get negative, then come back up again. And you get more of the actual feeling of what it was like to be in those sessions.
Get Back is like the warts and all this is the creative process here. It's not all shiny boots of Spanish leather. Whereas with the Let It Be, pardon the Dylan pun here, but we're in the 60s, so get your sleeves up. But with the Let It Be documentary, I guess, and I haven't seen it. I've always been curious to see it as a Beatles fan. But I'm gathering that it's kind of like the greatest hits or the snippets of what all it's none of the warts.
It's none of the warts. Yeah.
So
I liked it. You definitely come away with it of a more positive feeling. At least I did. Than you do from the Get Back. I mean, there's a little bit of an intro with Peter Jackson and the original director before Let It Be starts, and the way Peter Jackson said, which I think does make sense, or maybe it was the other director, said that one's the father and one's the child, and like in that, and I can't remember exactly what it said, but Ralph's joining. Wow.
Yeah, I know. So, what did we do to honor this moment here? Ralph has joined us, but apparently he's too busy, so he may.
Yeah, sorry, Ralph.
5 minutes.
No, I enjoyed it. I definitely recommend it. I was glad I finally got to see it after all these years. I remember 20 years ago when they released Hard Day's Night on DVD for the first time. It was like, yes, finally I get to watch Hard Day's Night, and then of course
I watched it
in
the 90s. Maybe I had it on VHS or something like that.
This is the first time on DVD.
Yeah. So.
And then I never really cared for Help or Magical Mystery Tour that much.
Oh, I like Help.
Yeah, I mean they're okay. It's just I'm not saying I hate them. I just
sure. There's things that I like about Help. Hard Day's Night maybe the best kind of like complete movie, but Will Fry agrees. He likes Help. So
yeah, I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying.
Half of Tennesseans on this show agree.
We haven't heard from
the Great Ghost,
so, yeah,
or Chris. I I mean,
hey there. How's it going?
There. We were just talking Beatles and music before you joined.
Yeah, I could tell. Sorry, I was had some technical difficulties, aka kids.
Oh.
So my daughter watched my son for a couple hours while Dad met up with Mom and for a couple of drinks. And Mom is still getting drinks, but I came home to podcast and make sure there's an adult in the house.
And I take it you said kids have been they're okay now.
They're fine. My son's a little bit rowdy at the moment, but
okay.
Well,
he's such a fucking kid,
dude. Okay, so let's talk about that for a hot second, right? So
sure.
the kids' F-bomb vocabulary is definitely growing.
Oh. It's taking on new forms.
It's crazy too because I don't swear in front of him. I swear to God, I don't. I know that sounds kind of like yeah, he's full of shit. No, I legitimately don't swear in front of him. So he heard, I think, his mother say it once. My beautiful bride.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, Amanda. If you're listening, you're not. I know, but. So she definitely has heard it from her, and he sees the reaction that he gets from me when he drops it. So now he's like, fuck you.
Wow.
I was like, and meanwhile, I'm like, I got the Vision Pro, so you can't see my face, but like I'm like holding my head over my face. I'm like, oh my God, no, don't say that, don't say it. But there's also a part of me that's being like, that's fucking funny.
You're like, say it once again for TikTok, baby.
Yeah, right. No, but he's awesome. He's just going through a little bit of a phase.
Yeah.
So tomorrow morning we're gonna get up bright and early. He actually does have
gonna run a marathon.
No. So he actually has kindergarten orientation tomorrow morning.
Ooh,
like bright and early, and then after orientation, Amanda and I are heading up to New Hampshire for a wedding weekend. So we're going up there for a bit.
I'm guessing more drinks.
Oh yeah, absolutely, no doubt about it. It's funny. Like a week ago, I think I was texting you guys before the last show. I went to a bar here in my town. Who a good friend of ours is a bartender, and we just happened to find ourselves there again tonight.
Nice.
Whoopsie. But I see in the chat we've got Matt K. We got Ralph. Will Fry, Ralph, and I saw the they posted that they're going to be having their screening.
Yeah.
For the
Lost.
for Ralph's Lost documentary with Tyler Morden. I was looking at flights and I did not find one that was like great. I also don't have tickets. So.
Everything's nuts right now. Like
I know.
I'm so glad that most of the time when I fly, my company is paying for it because
that's great.
It's just nuts. Like I'm going to Malaysia here in a couple weeks, and my ticket from Denver to Kuala Lumpur is $8,500.
Holy shit balls!
Yeah, and I was like, I can't imagine dropping that kind of money if it was me going on vacation to Malaysia. I'd be like, fuck this.
Yeah, Sherry says in the chat she's very proud of Ralph and what he's doing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like for those who don't know, Ralph is a longtime friend of this podcast and podcast before ours. So he got connected to Jay and Jack way back in the day when he was doing the Dharma Lars podcast. But if you don't know what's going on already, so Ralph, aka Casino Skunk or Casino Skunk Productions, has been in the process of producing a documentary about the TV show Lost with
like a year and a half now.
Yeah, with a renowned documentarian, Tyler Morden. So if you've seen perhaps The Last Blockbuster, which is a phenomenal documentary. Tyler Morden was the one who directed that film. And he's currently working with Ralph, a good friend of ours, and they're producing is it the 20th anniversary or is it the 25th anniversary?
It's the 20th.
Holy shit.
2004 to 2000.
Yeah. So the 20th anniversary of Lost, and they're producing a documentary called Getting Lost, the Getting Lost documentary, which is on Indiegogo as well as what's the other one? Not Indiegogo, but Kickstarter. Sorry, Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So you can fund the project there, which I definitely did gladly, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen. They have a ton of the cast. Some might say almost all of the cast have been interviewed and been a part of the documentary. So I am very excited to see and to hear the work that they're putting into this documentary. And it's premiering in September or October. I can't remember. Maybe November. Who knows? But
I was actually thinking like, oh, we're coming up on 20 years of Lost.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's
in September.
Yeah.
I think their intention was to release it for the 20th anniversary.
Yeah,
but
smart.
But we'll see.
Yeah, that's what blows my mind just about time, and how
it keeps ticking.
Well,
into the future.
No, just like in the way you think about time. Like to me, Lost isn't that old of a show.
No, but it's fucking ancient, dude.
It's ancient, yeah, and that's the thing. Because like I try to think of it like if this is 2001 and someone said, "Hey, they're making a 20th anniversary of Cheers," documentary, I'd be like, that show was forever ago. Because when you're 20 or 21, 20 years ago is forever ago.
That's fucked up. You said that. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So 20 years ago when Lost premiered.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been what, 2004?
2004 is when it premiered, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So 1984?
84.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Holy shit.
Well, Cheers was before 84. It was like
83.
No, but just to think that like 20 years ago for that time frame would have been.
Exactly. And that's the way I think about time, because I remember when I was pledging my fraternity, when we would get hazed,
82.
They would
Cheers
always
82.
Okay. They would always play Welcome to the Jungle, as we started to come into the frat house. And like at that time, that song was 12 years old, and I was like, damn, this song's old as fuck. But then
one better. I was watching Ready Player One.
Oh, great movie.
And at the beginning of Ready Player One, when they give the year, right? And they're listening to music from the 80s, that's like us listening to music in the 60s right now. Right now, us listening to music in the 60s.
That's crazy.
So whatever 2040 something, it's gonna be like them listening to 80s music as it is for us right now. So
Well,
it's a fucking mind blowing.
It's the old trope that if they made the Wonder Years today, it would be about 2020, 2005, or something crazy like that.
Oh yeah. I see what you're saying.
I like it, especially. I don't know, probably the last 15 years of my life, though. As you get more mature, I like that I've got friends now that are like 20 years older than me, because it's like you don't think of it that way anymore.
Are we talking about Jack?
Well, not just Jack.
Jack's a great example.
Jack is a great example, though.
It's just a little bit past his bedtime tonight. He couldn't make it tonight, unfortunately.
But, I had a close friend of mine, the guy that I ran Dolphin Papers
to
with.
get high. Excuse me for 1 second.
That's okay. Ed and his brother, Cliff, they were both, old enough to be my dad, but I hung out with them like they were brothers,
Right.
So I mean,
and that's what I mean. Yeah.
So time and age is just a number and part of your imagination.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. So like we're going to a wedding this weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been a long time since I've been to a wedding.
Yeah.
And like I haven't. I don't work. I have a job that does not require me to look like, business professional. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I went from a career in which I wore a suit literally every day to wearing jeans, and it's fucking great. Don't get me wrong. It's amazing. But so when you go to a spring wedding, and I say spring wedding as very specific because let's be real. The winter was not kind to my body. I definitely added a few pounds over these winter months. And yes, I'm getting back into biking again. Yes, I'm getting exercise in. But holy shit, nothing fits. So I had to go and rent a suit. Nice. Just because my suit that I have like 7.
My cousin Benny.
I think I have like 7 to 10 suits, right? I have like 7 to 10 suits in my closet. But they're all from, the mid 2000s to 2010.
Yeah.
Before I got my current job.
Yeah.
Because I wore a suit every day. But not one of those fucking suits comes even close to fitting. Like at all. And like the last wedding I went to, I got away with because it was like I think like a late summer wedding in which I was active. I was doing shit. I was like riding my bike or whatever, but like I was not as physically like much of a shit ball as I am right now. So I went and tried my suit on a couple of weeks ago. I was like, oh, fuck, there's no way I'm wearing this suit to this wedding. So I went and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to buy a suit because I don't plan on being this size forever. That's how my train of thought was, at least. So I rented a suit. Still, it's $200 to rent a suit, $220.
Damn. That's basically,
it's like
new in it.
Well, I mean, you can get a cheap suit for $200, right? But like, I didn't want to buy a cheap suit and then not wear it again because I don't intend to being remaining my current size for much longer. But yeah, so I got that going. I had to rent a suit.
Essential.
And then I'm playing some golf tomorrow, or no, Saturday, and I had to buy a golf driver because I broke my driver last fall. So it's been a little bit of an expensive week between buying golf clubs and renting suits and Airbnbs and all that shit. But it should be fun.
Yeah, like I knew exactly where we were going with that story because I am exactly the same boat. Not with weddings.
Oh my god!
But I had not bought a suit since roughly 2011. And
yeah, same, dude.
That's when I'm 30. And I weighed probably 175 at that time.
Dude, I couldn't tell you the last time I weighed 175.
Right. But I was easily with 31 to 32 waist at that time. And now I'm 34,
you
pushing 35.
Prissy bitch.
I know. I got the narrow hips, But, I could easily. And so what I've tended to do, especially with the spring weddings, is, I'm still the same, more or less up top. So I can wear the jackets. But, just throw on get you a pair of khakis. It's spring. It's okay. As long as you have a light colored jacket, then you're okay.
Yeah. I got the silver suit or the gray suit for this wedding.
Now,
should
what
be
color
fun,
are the buttons, though? That's the thing.
What's that?
So the thing about a gray suit is that for a spring wedding, there's supposed to be white buttons. But for the fall, if you're wearing a gray, there's black buttons. Just saying, if you're going to be real fancy.
I don't care that much.
Anyway, Nick's going to need Nah. I plan on coming back like 5 wives. So no.
Well, yeah.
He needs his birthday suit. Hey-o.
I just don't want you to, end up becoming sex trafficked while you're over there. Okay, so watch out for yourself.
I fully expect, every time I've been to that part of the world, I get so many looks from people because I'm so
looking at Nick and they're like, let's get this guy.
I'm so white that they're just like, it's like I can't imagine. It's like seeing an albino tiger. It's just like, what the fuck is that? That's what I would think if I was there. Right. Because I'm gonna be right next to the equator, so it's just like, fuck, like that's the white. I remember I told you, like my friend from Kenya that I went to grad school with, almost like one of the best people I've ever met in my life. And
thanks.
Well, you're from Boston, so you automatically come down a couple. So
it's a hard to climb out of that once you're down in the Boston hole.
I mean, your son already thinks you're a motherfucker. So, like,
seriously, what the fuck,
yeah, dude?
But I remember, like, so I knew this guy for a year. After I had known him for basically a year, he had people come in that flew in to see him graduate, and it was the first time he really was himself, like full on. This is himself, and I'm standing there, and his family walks up and goes, "This is my friend Nick. This is the whitest man who ever lived." And I'm like, fuck you. Like great guy.
He's from Tennessee.
Yeah.
Speaking of Tennessee, so my Patriots are going to be playing down there in November. And I'm currently in discussions with some friends and trying to make a trip to happen.
Will the new stadium be built in time for that one, or are you still playing it? Formerly Adelphia. I never know. Is it Nissan Stadium now?
I have no idea. Yeah. No clue.
Will would know.
But we're trying to get some tickets. Getting tickets is, whatever. You can figure that part out. But it's just trying to coordinate with friends as to whether or not we're going to make the trip on down to or over to Nashville again.
That's right. You've been there. Yeah.
I've been there twice. The first time was with Chris Kolk when we did the the media junkyard coverage of the Country Music Awards, which is a fucking gem of a story, or four.
2 more seasons.
And then 2 more seasons. And then I went a few years ago when the Titans played the Patriots, and I passed out cold by halftime because the last stop on Broadway before we got to the stadium was a fucking moonshine bar. Nice. And no matter what you think, that is never a good idea. Just for future reference, if anyone who's ever has a situation when they're on their way to a football game or to an event, and you're like, "Hey, let's stop for one more drink."
Right.
Don't do it if it's a fucking moonshine bar, because that's what it was, and I blacked the fuck out by halftime.
And the thing is, that's not even like, it is technically moonshine, but it's not like real.
No, but it's like gasoline pouring down your fucking throat.
But that's the thing is, like, if you actually have proper moonshine, it's like 100 and something or 200 proof. It's so much you don't even taste it. It's like water, and then you'll kind of like belch it up in a way, and it's like,
it's like lava coming out of your stomach.
But like that, you're basically just drinking unaged whiskey.
Yeah.
You use like Tums as shooter, like what is that?
You want to chase her with that?
Yeah, exactly. There you go, buddy.
No, but I'll tell you, my wife just went to Nashville last month actually for a friend of ours who had a birthday party in Nashville, and it was a blast. And I was like, "Fuck, I need to go back!" Like, 'cause that place is just incredible. So I know
that's what's blowing my mind about Nashville is because I have never lived there, but in the '90s, I think I actually brought this up one time. You know how when you were a kid and you watched Price is Right, and like the last showcase sometimes was a vacation somewhere, and like whenever it would be like a full expaid trip to Nashville, I'd be like, wah wah, like who wants to go there? Yeah.
Well, what's crazy is that the first time I went to Nashville was in 2010, and that was with Chris Kolk, and that's to think that was 14 years ago is like mind blowing, right?
Yeah.
And it was incredible then. Like, but you could tell it was reinventing itself in a way. Like it was a kind of like a shit show, but it was just like a happy shit show. But it was just a mess of people all over the place. Well, and then like 10 years later, or less than that, maybe like 6 or 7 years later, I went back and I went for the Patriots, and it was like a different place.
It's a different place. Yeah, like I said, I had not been to downtown Nashville in probably 15 years.
Yeah,
I've been to Uptown.
But I went, like Ryman. Yeah, Ryman is the original Grand Ole Opry, Randy. It's one of the, like I've talked about that many times. It's one of the few places you need to hear a show.
I would love to see Rihanna at the Ryman.
At the Ryman. Okay. But Broadway was nothing. It was always nothing. Like Second Avenue and Printer's Alley was where everything was up until the Titans came to town.
Right.
And so if you went to Broadway, you went to all the little honky tonks, which some of them are still there, like Tootsie's, and some they're like basically the one little room areas where you have a small stage, somebody be up there with an acoustic guitar just playing country music, and that's it. And then now, as you go down Broadway, you have these 3-4 level buildings that are just like full of live, like full on bands, full on. And you're like, what the hell
fucking
is this?
Awesome,
yeah,
dude.
It's
so good. Like you guys know me, like I have an addiction to like live music and performance, right? So like seeing or just being there for a couple of days and going up and down the strip and like poking your head into any random bar, and you might find like the who's who of like the next generation of music, and it's just an incredible experience. And granted, it is completely cliche at this point, because I do believe that Nashville has overtaken Vegas as like the Bachelorette.
Yeah, it's been that way for like 5 years now.
Yeah, like the Bachelorette, like central for all of the United States. But dude, it's so much fun. Like I remember going there the last time, or both times really, and it is just a fun time. Like, yeah, you're gonna get hammered. You don't have to get hammered, or whatever. You're gonna get good food. You'll get good barbecue. You're gonna get great music and great whiskey if you're into it, or just great drink. But no matter where you go, everywhere on Broadway, you're gonna have a live band performing. You're gonna have good drinks, and you have like great food within arm's reach at all times. So it's just a cool fucking city.
When I was there, we were at the one bar I think that wasn't playing country music, which was weird for me. But the band was incredible. And what they did was it's kind of like, they did like a Phil Collins type thing, like whereas the drummer was the male lead singer. They had one female that could do like female songs, and then you had the other guys that were really good. I mean, female lead vocals or whatever.
No, I know what you mean.
I thought it was brilliant. What they did was that they were a cover band, but they could play anything.
Yeah,
and
smart.
They had a QR at the very front of the stage, and basically what you did was you scanned the QR, and it would take you to this page, and then you would you'd type in the artist name and the name of the song, and then you could give them $1, you could give them $20, you can give them whatever you wanted to. The more money you gave them, though, the higher it went into the queue for them to play it.
Yeah, right.
And I was trying to stump them. That's how many songs I don't see how many songs. And the only song they didn't know that I requested was the 80s song, Crowded House. It'll hit me later.
Oh, Crowded House?
Yeah, like their hit.
Yeah.
Anyway, but they were unbelievable. You didn't want to leave. That's how good they were. Like they just kept the house a rocking.
I was at a restaurant recently where they had a jukebox kind of set up like that.
No Dream It's Over. Thank you, Matt Treist. Yeah.
So as you sat there, you could actually just pull up the app on your phone. And then of course you could do the same thing of like moving things higher up in the queue. But it was a lot of fun because nobody was there, and between my family, we just picked some of the longest songs we knew. So, did we lose
Echoes by Pink Floyd? Nah, he's still there. He's just away from the camera.
I'm here.
Oh no, that's okay.
So weird. It's like it's like his camera just gave birth to him. Like he zoomed out, and all of a sudden, boom! Here I am.
Here I am. Here I am. I'm here. Just trying to have an alternate view here.
I did go see the new Planet of the Apes film this past Friday. Oh, Chris is joining twice now. Yeah, okay. But they burn out quick. And go, yeah, the bartender. I can see that because like the amount Will Fry, for everyone out there, said that bartenders can clear 120K a year, but they tend to burn out quick. And I can see that because every bar I've been to in Nashville, it's just slammed. There's like 2 or 3 people working the bar, but they're not stopping. Like they don't get like a 2-second to breathe. It's just like, no. Just okay, are we just watching Chris? What are we doing here?
Hello.
Oh yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, I didn't feel like wearing that fucking thing right now, so I changed my mind.
Is it because I put Ben Cool as your name?
Now you hit the mic again, Chris. You turned it off.
Sorry, I missed that. I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, Ben Cool. Oh, and I'm High Boob. What the hell, man?
Hey, I get put in charge of taking over the titles. It's fun. So fun to be producer for a night. So yeah. We should probably take like a what do you say? Commercial break? I mean, we're
just a quick one. Just a little brief one.
Let's
go for it.
So I gotta say, I started to say, like, I went and watched the new Planet of the Apes film.
Okay.
On Friday.
And it watched you back.
Yeah, it's not bad. I gave it like a 7.8 out of 10, which is
7.8. It's better than not bad. That's a good score from you, Nick.
Yeah,
I saw an online ranking,
which usually much plot anyway. It was
right. I saw an online ranking where it put it. It's not at the top.
No,
it's not at the bottom.
It's at the bottom.
Definitely like. And I like this new current era of the Planet of the Apes movies. I thought they were.
That's what I consider. I consider this to be the first of a new trilogy. Because because the first 3, were the decline of mankind and the slow rise of the apes. This one is like probably 3 or 4 or more generations later.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Because you had Caesar in the first trilogy, and then this is like the descendants of Caesar.
Yeah, and you can see. I almost looked at this as a commentary on, in some aspects, of how
MAGA.
No, of like how religion, in a way, the more you get away from the source of the religion, how things evolve to have different meanings, and people use those meanings to benefit themselves.
Oh yeah, I think that is kind of
legitimately what's happening right now.
And so I liked it in some aspects. I felt that it started good and ended good. There's just a little bit too much of a lull in the middle. But it's not bad. It's just plot, like I said, but it's fine. I mean, to me, Fall Guy is way better. Because that's like a solid 8.5. But it's,
it was. I mean, every now and then I'll see stuff like, oh, this did poorly at the box office, or this did this, or it's like, who's to say? It's like there's been movies that come out, and then it's like, a couple years later, people are like, wait, that was really actually pretty good, and so Matt Treese said it felt like two movies mashed together. So
I can see that. Yeah. Like I say, it's not bad. It's just it lacks just something I can't quite hit on it yet. But
cocaine.
Yeah, cocaine. There's a scene where the apes just.
Whoa. It lacked a good.
That's why I was silverback.
The silverback. Bring in the silverbacks. I mean, you said there was a lull in the middle of the movie, so I assume that kind of has to do with these 2 movies being mashed together. You have these 2 plots or these 2 storylines, kind of.
Yeah, because I don't want to spoil it, but
recently
exactly. Sherry brought up a good point about Shawshank.
Shawshank is a good example of that. It failed in the theaters. Oh yeah.
Oh really?
I like Morgan Freeman's explanation for that. And he said it's really a lot of times movies just come down to titles.
Yeah.
And he said, like, when you're looking at a bill, especially in that time from the early 90s, and you see like, Jaws 14,
Shawshank Redemption.
You're like, what the hell is that? I'm gonna go watch Jaws 14.
I don't. Yeah.
Whereas, it's a good
people in the 90s were like, oh, I don't want my wife to get fucked in this movie. Like they're walking in, like, who titled this? Is this
But
about a rape
at the
scene?
same note, though, like if Shawshank came out today, with the advent of like social media
Right.
and the coverage of
Right.
movies, it probably would have a much different.
And yet there,
and you'd advertise it better too.
Right.
Than what it was.
And, I mean, yet there are things that kind of can fall through the cracks. I mean, I'm just now getting into Resident Alien,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm learning that like Sci-Fi could possibly not pick that up and renew it. So
been. I mean, I don't know. I thought I watched it at the end of season 1, and I felt that every season. And it's managed. I think they shoot it for very low money too, which is one
they do. But the writing on it is really smart. I gotta say that like there are lines and like now. Granted, there are some plot lines that I'm always kind of like, well, why'd you go this way with these characters, or why are these characters doing this? However, I think overall I've enjoyed. It's a show that basically there's no going back, essentially, right? Like certain sitcoms or comedies that you go into, it's kind of like, oh, there's always kind of a reset, rinse, and repeat kind of aspect. And this show doesn't really have that, and yet it tries to stay within the confines of a TV show, right? Like, oh, we have to have these characters doing these sorts of things, right?
Right.
But as certain characters are revealed or certain plot points kind of there is kind of a no-go, there's no going back now because this has happened aspect, at least with what I've seen. I'm kind of getting close to the end of season 2. Okay. Essentially is where I'm at. And yes, I was a little high the other night, and I texted you guys this random picture of Terry Quinn.
That's right. Yeah.
He plays this alien hunter kind of dude who gets mobbed by a woman saying like, "Oh, I just love your podcast," and I in my mind am thinking, "Oh,
I totally got
Jack."
It.
Okay,
yeah.
You got it. Jack was just like, "I don't understand." I'm like,
and I didn't get it.
That's okay.
I was like, yeah, I'll let Jack squander a little bit.
I figured I'd explain it on the show, but I've enjoyed the show. It's very humorous at points. It takes twists and turns that I'm just like, oh, but sometimes the music choices can be both good. Like I'm like, oh, I like this band. Like they play a lot of Breeders. But they
fucking Breeders, dude.
Yeah. They play Breeders.
Cuckoo, Cannonball.
There's a specific character that is kind of like, I think Breeders is her go-to band, so they'll play that as kind of like her
time when that CD got fucking a lot of run on my Walkman.
Yeah,
or Discman.
Yeah.
They also played a Belle and Sebastian song.
Yeah,
and possibly one of their most famous songs, "The Boy with the Arab Strap." But it happens in the most like, what the fuck? Why would you play that song here? Like, this doesn't really. And it took me so out of it because I was like, wait, this was a pivotal murder scene moment, and then they drop that song, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? So, good music choices by the director, questionable mic or like needle drop moments where I'm just kind of like, why that song? Why now? We've got a visitor on this podcast.
Yeah, sure do. I did want to mention something. I don't think Chris might care about this, but I don't think he will. I'm sure you've seen it. You might not have. We haven't mentioned it. But on the 31st, May 31st, on Disney Plus, they have a Jim Henson documentary.
That's right. I've seen advertisements or articles talking about it, so I'm excited that there's something coming because we've joked about how the Muppets are the redheaded stepchild of Disney. So,
right.
And right now, for those of you that are listening on the podcast, Chris is consoling his son who
don't make this a habit, you little fucker. Yeah.
Let the record show that Chris was pointing to Nick
and positive acknowledgement of yes.
Yes.
Since we're just talking about TV, we didn't ever talk about it. I know I was looking forward to it. I'm not sure what your guys thought. We haven't talked about it since Jack here. We can talk about it. I was massively disappointed in Tales of the Empire. I think it had a couple of good episodes, but I ultimately did not like it.
I'll be interested if Chris, did you see it? Thumbs up? No, did not see it. Okay, that's a negatory on that one. Or
whereas in Tales of the Jedi, I absolutely loved. A couple years ago.
Tales of the Jedi felt a lot more cohesive as a storyline. There were some. Okay, here's what I like about Tales of the Empire. I like the time jumps.
Yeah,
I actually like the time jumps. I like the characters we get to see in the time jumps. It's like, here's the time in which we get to do all the cameos, right?
Yeah.
Like, ooh, we've got this character, but the actual, I think, character that we're following through these only 3 beats, right? Each, right? We get one character with basically 3 episodes,
right?
And we get these little beats along the way. Where it fails is the actual character story arc. They're in the 3rd episode of Tales of the Empire, and for those that haven't seen them, these are as 15 minutes with credits, basically. Animated. Cartoon. So they're like 3 episodes is equal to 1 actual
and also like episode. If for anyone out there who, just to give it some context, one of the things that was great about Tales of the Jedi and Tales of the Empire is, like, really, to me, what these stories are about are they're filling in the cracks of little tidbits of information that you don't necessarily need, but you're very grateful that you get it, because it's like, this gives a needed backstory for something else, and that's what I've liked about them.
But if we're talking about this being a body form and the fact that we're getting, like, meat and structure and tendons, the bone structure itself is very weak, and it doesn't feel like it could stand on its own. Like, so the character arcs in both the characters that we follow, there's still these like, what was the fucking motivation there for being such a bitter old bitch?
Right.
So pardon my French, but one character, we
can say what characters are about. I mean, like, I really
Morgan
disappointed in
Elsbeth
the Morgan Elsbeth arc. That was the one I didn't like the most. I felt once they got to,
I loved the cameos. What I'm saying.
Great. But when we get to Barriss, the first 2 episodes of Barriss, I really liked, and then I felt the ending,
high points of the
I felt the ending of Barriss's story just felt flat.
Yep. That's a fair assessment. So basically, like, the first episode, the first 2 episodes I liked. 3rd one falls flat. 4th and 5th episode, really, really strong, stronger than the first 2. And then the 6th one, it just doesn't stick the landing, and and all it does is leave me wanting more. It's like it's like someone said, here's an appetizer at a bar, and you're like, but you only gave me 4, and I thought I ordered 6, and they're like, sorry, that's all you get. Do you want? And you're like, can I have some extra marinara sauce? And they're like, sorry, they're all out. And you're like, do you have any spicy nacho? And they're like, best I can do is garlic butter.
Well, I mean, so
sorry, that's not even fair either, because it's shittier than garlic butter. Garlic butter is actually pretty good.
With the Morgan Elizabeth stuff, to me, it was already dead on arrival for me, because if you're going to center in on that character, then you should have gave her a better death scene, and not in Tales of the Empire people. She died in Ahsoka. Spoiler, sorry, but because you see how many people in the Disney era have been stabbed by a lightsaber and then lived. She gets a little slash across the belly and just kills over. And I'm like, what the hell, man? So like, to me, it's like, I don't care, because I already know you're dead. And so that was that was one of the killers of it. And then with Barriss, I thought Barriss, there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah.
And especially the way things happen in the Clone Wars and where her character could go. And to me, it was almost a Tales of the Jedi tale, not a Tale of the Empire storyline, because it's still her being a Jedi.
Right, but she's breaking free, because hers is a story of redemption. And if you look at the Jedi ones, it's the story of the fall of a Jedi within the Tales of the Jedi. So within Tales of the Empire, you have the reverse, you have the inverse of it. But it didn't it wasn't satisfying enough. And if anything, because there's a big time jump that takes place towards the end, and again in that 6th episode, it feels like we're robbed of so much more with that character.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it went too good and then like she could. I mean, it's very Filoni in that it's open ended, so you never know. She could still appear.
Sure.
But I just didn't. With the fourth, is it the fourth sister? I just to me it was just a little too. I wanted to. I want it to be dark. That's just me. If it's going to be called Empire, I want it to be dark.
You know what I want is when I see Tales of the Jedi. When I first saw that, what I thought we were getting was straight up Dark Horse comics, old school, way in the past, way before the High Republic, like dealing with Sith and like early Jedi bullshit. I was like, that could be interesting because you can go in a lot of different places with that. We probably won't get that, sadly. I am curious as to know where Star Wars animation is going to go from here now that the Bad Batch has closed that book.
I think Filoni's strength is in animation. That's where he started, and I think he does a damn good job with it. And I can't imagine him not doing another animated show within the next couple of years. Because, to me, I know he's going to be concentrating on the Grogu and Mandalorian movie for now. But I can see him giving it a couple of years, and then we'll come back with something else. You guys, I'm sure you guys have heard, maybe not, that they've already canceled season 2 of The Acolyte.
Oh, really? What?
Yeah. Bob Iger, basically, from the negative reactions to the trailers and from, I think they dismissed the writer/director of the show as well. And Kathleen Kennedy, from what I've heard, is still an uproar about it. So it could be one of those things where they might bring it back. But that the amount of money she spent on it compared to what she spent on Obi-Wan and other things is way more. And so I think that Bob Iger was just like, you know what, from what we're seeing, it's already going to fail from what you're doing. So we're just going to nip it in the bud.
Well, it's going to be, I think the hard sell with middle America is the fact that, it is a lot more Asian. And I think that there's as far as the main characters, so you just have some people that are just like, well, there's nobody like me in this, so they just check out, and they think, oh, this is just another woke Disney Star Wars show. I'm out, and so it doesn't have the Mandalorian appeal. I hope that it can get over that hurdle, that white boy knee-jerk reaction to it, and that it can live on its own. I'm excited about like some of the action sequences that they keep trying to tease us and say that they try to go bigger than this and bigger than that, or better than the Phantom Menace. By the way, in the background for everybody listening to this, Chris is he is doing the CrossFit dad.
Oh, someone just unmuted it. Yeah, on purpose.
He is.
So Chris, unmute the mic if you didn't know.
Getting the.
Go ahead, say hi.
Right here, welcome to the Ramblecast.
Right here. Say hi. Say hi, I'm Jackson.
He's not even looking at us. He's just looking at us.
That's it. I don't care, Dad.
Yeah.
Daddy, that hurt.
That hurt? Oh, sorry.
That's some authentic kid laughter.
Sorry, he's trying to tickle him to get him to leave.
Oh, I see.
I thought you were tickling him to get him to sleep. Like it's taking.
No, I'm trying to get him to leave the room.
Oh, I figured he was just coming in for you to make him go to sleep, and then
he's
carry him out.
He's being. If you're gonna be in here, you gotta be on the show.
Yeah,
Jackson, what do you want to talk about?
You get a job yet, kid?
Yeah. My kindergarten.
Your kindergarten? You want to talk about kindergarten?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So what's tomorrow?
I don't know.
You don't know. So do you have kindergarten orientation tomorrow morning? So what are you gonna do tomorrow?
Go to kindergarten.
You're gonna go to your kindergarten class? You're gonna check out the new classroom?
You're gonna meet some of your lifelong friends.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm.
What are you excited about?
I don't know.
You don't know?
What does he think happens in kindergarten?
Magic.
Juice boxes and
you know what I'm really excited about kindergarten?
Yeah.
Not paying your preschool tuition.
Woohoo!
Oh my god. It's like a bonus.
Yeah, for real.
It's like a mortgage payment back. So are you super duper excited to go check out your kindergarten class tomorrow? Yeah.
I know I was watching some clip today where somebody was from New York and talking about that, how it costs him $24,000 a year for his 2 kids in daycare, free. And I was just like, holy crap.
Yeah, he's like 13.
Yeah.
13.
Oh wow, okay, gotcha. Yeah, wow, that's just nuts.
Yeah,
he's a small 13,
and they teach it. I know, and they teach him how to like color.
I don't need to practice the color.
Well, that's where I don't get the amount of money it is, because how many kids are in that room?
Like 10.
Yet you're
12.
still okay, but you're still charging $250 a week.
$330, I think it is.
Yeah,
or 3 or 4. Jackson, what do you learn? What's the coolest thing you've learned in preschool? Say it right here so everybody can hear you.
I don't know that.
You don't know? Yeah, I don't either.
Oh shit!
It's the
So you didn't get your money's worth. Yeah.
The colors.
What's your favorite part about preschool? About Prospect Hill?
Playing outside.
Playing outside.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's cool. What's something you've learned at school?
Can you spell your name?
Can you spell your name for everybody?
I don't know.
Yes, you can. Don't do that. Don't play shy. Ready? J.
J.
What's next?
A.
What is after that?
C.
Next.
K.
Correct.
S.
Yep.
O.
Yep.
One more.
That's right.
Nailed
it. High five. High fives.
I can say it fast.
Go ahead.
JACKSON.
There you go, dude. Nice job. Nice job. When your mom comes home, she's gonna be so mad at me for having you being up right now, but whatever. It is what it is.
She doesn't know.
She's gonna know when she gets home. This is the next generation of the Ramblecast, everybody.
Yeah. Imagine us being like the old farts still doing this, and then like him coming in with like some of his buddies.
It's gonna be like me and Jay. Or Jack and Jay, rather. It'll be like, Boston and Boston Jr. What do your friends at school call you?
Jackson.
What else?
Boston.
They legit call him Jackie Boston at school.
Yeah,
Wow. You don't like it?
Yeah.
What name do you like the most?
Jackie.
Jackie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He likes Jackie.
Even Sherry said.
Jackie.
I do love the honesty of children. Like they have no.
I'll tell you what's up.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful you can't hear them.
Made a funny.
Yeah. Sorry.
No.
Real life happens sometimes, and real life is on this episode of Ramblecast After Dark.
No, that's fine. Oh, Sherry in the comments section says, when my daughter came back from kindergarten, I asked her if she had a great day. She said, "Remember when you said it will be fun?" I don't think that's a word I would use.
Do you think kindergarten's going to be fun?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Uh-huh. What are you looking forward to the most about kindergarten?
I don't know.
You don't know?
The numbers.
And
the letters.
And a lunch that Dad doesn't have to pack every day?
I eat jelly sandwiches.
You jelly sandwich.
Yeah.
Jelly sandwiches because he can't bring in peanut butter to his class, right?
Because allergies.
You can put peanut butter, but it's not like peanut butter.
But yeah, because people have allergies to peanut butter.
Is it just me, or did that come out of nowhere? Like, I don't remember anyone ever when we grew up having a peanut butter allergy. And then all of a sudden, 10 years ago, all of a sudden it became a thing. And you're like,
hold on.
Because, well, I think also the ability to identify.
That's true.
My wife was identified. She's allergic to oregano. She did like a whole like screening for toxins. It's like something that like is in really bad pizza. Like there's good pizza that doesn't use oregano, and then there's like the cheap pizza that people just like sprinkle oregano in, and she reacts to it every single time. So it's a weird allergy, but
I think I'm sure you guys have seen it where like
Mom's home.
They go down people's skin like their back, and they put like
you're in trouble.
Yes,
that's
you're
exactly.
in so much trouble.
Yeah, I've always wanted to try that.
You are in so much trouble. It's not even funny.
There was something else she was.
That door's just gonna go like wide open.
Yeah, what we just got the notification that the Ring doorbell went off, so Mom's home.
Oh.
You are in trouble.
Oh man.
I know that we wanted to keep this fairly tight tonight. I did want to say, like, I'm looking forward to when I get back from Malaysia. June is going to be off the hook TV wise. So you got The Acolyte, June 4th.
Oh yes.
You got Sweet Tooth season 3. I don't know if you guys ever watched Sweet Tooth, but it's very good on Netflix.
I read the comic book.
Yeah. You have The Boys season 4, June 13th. A new show on Apple called Presumed Innocent, which I have written down. I'm not sure what it's about. You have House of the Dragon season 2, June 16th. Yes.
Whoa.
The Bear season 3, June 27th. And then 2 movies, Horizon Part 1, which I'm not sure what that is, but I wrote down to watch. And then A Quiet Place Day 1 as well.
Oh yeah.
So June's going to be crazy busy.
Blowing
TV.
up. Yeah.
I've caught up with Franklin.
Isn't that good?
Oh, it's really good. It's really so. Is that? I didn't do the research on this. Is it to be expected? There's a lot of artistic.
I'm sure.
Like privilege taken on this. Like
I'm sure.
Like how much is this based on? Actual events or whatever.
Well, I'm not sure what they used for their sources, but Temple was his biographer. So if they're using Temple's notes and Temple's memory of it, it makes sense because look how much of the story is based around Temple.
Fair.
So, because there's different accounts because like in different movies and shows that you've seen during this period, or at least a little like an episode dedicated that I've always thought Benjamin Franklin was a male whore. During this time period, and they're showing him pretty timid.
Are they though? Because for the record, those listening, my son has vacated the room, so what I'm about to say is not going to be in front of my 5-year-old.
It would be funny if you peeked behind that door.
Homeboy is whoring himself around regardless of his physical ailments, and he's got a couple of suitors that are like chomping at the bit for him.
He heard about
kind of a whore.
He heard about this show called Bridgerton and was just like,
I gotta go up my game.
Although I have to say though, dude, I'm pretty darn impressed with Michael Douglas, right, in his ability to portray him. I will say though, like I feel like there was a couple of times in like the last couple of episodes in which I was watching and listening, kind of like you have to read a lot of the subtitles and whatnot, but like that's a show I listen to a lot. I try to listen to, but then I have to pay attention when he's speaking in French or someone speaking in French. But even in his English speaking parts, like he feels very, very scripted, like almost as if he's reading from a play.
Yeah.
And granted, that's also kind of like the era or like the like the how things are back then, but it really feels significantly like it's like he's doth thou want to come over here and sit on my lap type shit. You know what I mean? Like it just feels so very much catered. Even still, show's great. The actors are phenomenal.
And Michael Douglas, he's one of those actors that solid actor, has a lot of credibility, but also hasn't really had a movie or anything to kind of showcase his
Kaminsky method.
I love Kaminsky.
Well, yeah, the Kaminsky method. That's true. That is true.
But American President before that, right? I mean, it wasn't really
sure. I mean, he doesn't. I was just thinking, like, I mean, other than like being in the Ant-Man movies, it's not like he's doing anything. Yeah.
One of my favorite movies that never got its due is Wonder Boys. Do you guys ever see that?
Wonder Boys?
You should go watch it. It's early 2000s. It's Michael Douglas, Katie Holmes, Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. It's got a solid cast. Tobey Maguire,
really good
soundtrack. Yeah, Bob Dylan got Oscar. That song, and it's got other good tracks on it too.
Yeah, the Bob Dylan song's like, "You wonder boys, what are you wondering about?" No, I'm just joking. I'm fucking with you. But no, the
Torn. Okay,
the soundtrack is solid.
It's a solid movie. It just doesn't appeal to everybody because it's about writing in a way. But I love it. I love it.
I felt like it came out in the shadow of How Do You Like Them Apples? Like,
oh yeah, I can see that.
It was kind of
Good Will Hunting.
Yes, thank you.
It's not quite Good Will Hunting.
It's not quite Good Will Hunting, but I felt like the way that it was marketed, the way that it was kind of like the way.
I also think it was one of those movies that was released at the wrong time because when you're thinking 2001, roughly, I think that film was released. Right. How many weird focus feature type films were being released from 2000? Like I'm talking like Magnolia and all these weird kind of trippy movies, Vanilla Sky, all these things like that. That was more of a down to earth film compared to like all the stuff that was out at the time.
Oh, sure.
And
well, that period of time for film, in the alt,
98 through like 04, I love that period. It's so, Fight Club and all those weird movies.
Yeah. It really feels kind of like the early 70s, I mean, in the scope or in the range, like how the early 70s had like a lot more grit or make you think kind of movies, or like movies that were a little bit more off kilter, but still had some really great writing and acting. But yeah, the alt kind of era of film and that in the 90s was just it was unique.
Michael Douglas is gonna be 80 years old this September.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I'm looking at a picture from his Wikipedia page, and he looks way the fuck older.
He looks like his father now.
He really does. You know what I mean? Like he looks. But even in Franklin, he doesn't look that old.
No, Drew.
Like makeup for that show is actually pretty incredible. I was looking at the cast of that of Franklin, and I was kind of like looking up all the actors and actresses because it's like they're all French actors and actresses. I don't know any of them. And one of the people that kind of like really blew me away was the actress that plays. Give me a second here while I pull up the cast here. Was it Madame Brillon? I think is that the woman he's like banging on the side.
Well, he's got two that he's banging
or trying to bang. Not the notably older one.
Okay, the one that plays the piano.
Yeah. Dude, she is a very attractive woman.
I figured, yeah.
But in the show,
makeup on her.
In the show, she's not, dude. Like she's actually kind of like that weird, like powder face, Renaissance era
time,
period. But it's interesting to see, like in like I don't know that show has to win awards for makeup and costume design because they all look fucking amazing in that show.
I think that The Sympathizer on HBO will probably give it a run for its money too, because like Robert Downey Jr. is playing like 5 different characters in that show.
Oh wow!
And he's it's so that's what I'm saying, like to play different roles, different makeup, and different hairstyles and all that.
Yeah.
And he's also playing across from Tyler Perry, who's playing the rest of the characters.
No, if you guys haven't given The Sympathizer a shot, it's pretty good.
I'm looking at the cast right now.
Yeah, you're not gonna know many people in the cast.
Sandra Oh.
It's Sandra Oh is the only person you'll probably know, aside from Robert Downey Jr. Because basically what it is it's about this Vietnamese young man who he's a spy for the North Vietnamese, but he kind of gets trapped in this situation to where he has to, because he was assigned to this general for the South Vietnamese, and he kind of gets trapped in the situation where he has to migrate to the U.S. to keep tabs on him and like still be a spy, even though he doesn't want to be a spy anymore. And so Robert Downey Jr. plays like, in the first episode, he's like the CIA handler, in South Vietnam, and then all of a sudden he's a director in Hollywood. He's playing all these different characters, and you're like, wow, like look at Robert Downey Jr. go. It's pretty good. I mean, it's compared to some of the other shows we've talked about in recent, it's not quite up there, but it's still like worth watching.
He's an interesting actor to try to get into right now, right? I mean, because his acting career was so much like a 3-act play. You know what I mean? It's you go back to the 80s and 90s when he was the playboy, drug addict going in and out of court, typical, Hollywood teen gone wrong. And he finally got his shit together. Mm-hmm. And by the time he really got his shit together, in his own personal life, and I'm making this up as I go. I'm assuming this is based upon what I see. But like by the time he got his shit together in his personal life and his professional life, he got involved in like this franchise of Marvel that just took 15 years out of his acting career. You know what I mean?
I think 95 through 05 is basically like his dead period, where like he's just not there.
Right.
And then to me, his acting comes back full force in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Which is a great movie. That's a good call.
It was a flop.
Forget about that movie, dude. It's a great movie.
It's a great movie. It was 05. It's Val Kilmer's last good film.
Such a good movie.
And then you have Robert De Niro. It's a great movie. And it's one of those movies that didn't get enough acknowledgement.
Oh, Matt in the chat, you bring up Chaplin. Chaplin was like
that's like 92.
That's like that's
everything after that is just downhill to me.
No, but what happened after that for him?
Right.
That's the drugs. Yeah, like he just
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think also too, like creatively, like it was almost like kind of too much. It kind of broke him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like early 90s. Because like that's like Mila Jovovich is one of her very first films.
Wow.
She's just a child.
Yeah, she basically was a child. Yeah, because like that's what's crazy when you think about like her doing the Return to the Blue Lagoon and Cuffs and that. Like, she is like 16 years old. Well, Fifth Element, at least she was legal at that point.
Leeloo Corbin Dallas. Let's go.
Yeah. Multipass.
Leeloo Multipass.
That's a movie that also bombed, but it's such a
phenomenal movie.
Yes. And I guess it didn't really put but yeah, it was a good movie. Good, like I'm trying to think of Bruce Willis, like how he kind of broke out into more of these kind of sci-fi movies in the 90s, both with that and 12 Monkeys, that like really kind of like
right.
I haven't watched it, but I remember loving 12 Monkeys.
I never saw 12 Monkeys.
You never saw 12 Monkeys?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
That would be a good one to kind of go back to, because it's so of that era too.
Yeah, and that's one of those films I think Brad Pitt did for free because he just wanted to do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's during his just before Fight Club, but that weird 12 Monkeys. He was doing a bunch of weird shit,
7 was one of those movies for me. I think 7 was like my first movie experience where I was like, I actually got into like the production and direction of a movie. You know what I mean? Like I think like my high school, grade school and high school, I loved watching movies. I just loved being in the experience of watching a film. But I think 7 was the first movie where I was like, huh. Some motherfuckers put some thought into this
There's
shit.
some weird shit going
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it being like, what's in the box?
What's
What was it? Was it Gwyneth Paltrow's head? You know, and you start questioning all these things. And that was like the first movie for me that I think really kind of like started challenging me to think about storylines. You know what I mean? And I to this day, the sloth character still freaks me the fuck out when he starts gasping for air on the bed.
That one and the guy with the knife on his dick. That one.
Yeah, that one too.
Those are the two that really kind of got me going. Fuck, do I need to watch this?
Right.
Yeah. But 12 Monkeys though, definitely in that similar vein, I guess. I don't remember it having like something as horrifying.
I've only heard amazing things. It's just one of those movies that for me has like slipped.
But plot wise, it definitely has a mind fuck moment, which is cool. So
it was that. Memento was another one for me.
Yes,
another turning point movie.
That was like there's a lot of like movie references in The Fall Guy, the movie, and that was one of the ones I thought was really funny. Is that the actor the guy that he's supposed to be the stunt double for?
Okay,
he's supposed to be this idiot kind of actor, and so he puts Post-it notes all over so he can remember shit, and like his handler. Like, because it's been a few years since this character has seen him. He's like, is he still putting Post-it notes everywhere? She's like, memento level.
Like, memento level.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then when he actually goes into his apartment, like you see them fucking everywhere. Just like, what the hell? But,
so Matthew Treese in the chat says, his local theaters gonna be running a 1999
wow.
movie theater retrospective in June. So I just pulled up the movies from 1999.
Boondock Saints, baby.
There are some fucking great ass movies. So Boondock Saints, thank you, Nick, for bringing that one up. Bone Collector, that was a phenomenal flick. Let's see. I'm looking through a bunch of them here. Being John Malkovich, Big Daddy, Man of the Moon, dude. Varsity Blues, unbelievable. I never saw October Sky.
Oh, that's great.
But October Sky is one. Mystery Alaska, The Mummy, Brandon Fraser, Blue Streak. That's a funny movie.
Yeah.
I
remember seeing
The Matrix, dude. The Matrix.
The Matrix, yes.
Matrix, yeah.
Mel Gibson's Payback. Entrapment. Mystery Men. That's wow. Dude,
yeah.
I can't believe that was that long ago. I was thinking like early 2000s.
Let's go. You're All Diseased by George Carlin came out. That was a comedy special documentary, if you will.
Wow, I can't believe Mystery Men was 99. It feels earlier
Magnolia.
than 99.
Yeah.
It
feels like
American Beauty.
American Beauty, yeah.
Gosh,
Wouldn't that go on to
Suicides?
win the Oscar? I think
It did. The Virgin Suicides.
Yes, great soundtrack too.
Man in the Moon.
Man,
Girl Interrupted.
what did she interrupt? I'm still waiting to
She
find
interrupted the fact that was with Angelina Jolie got full frontal. I'm just saying. I remember these things. What else?
Bigger, longer, uncut.
Treast in the chat. South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut.
Dude, that movie is a fucking epic flick. Like I remember that when that came out. That still holds up as one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in a theater. God, Talented Mr. Ripley, Fight Club. Holy shit, dude. 1999 was off the chains.
And you haven't even mentioned the maybe one of the funniest Star Wars movies. Funniest character. Phantom Menace. Phantom fucking Menace.
The Iron Giant.
Iron Giant was 99?
Yeah.
I thought it was 2000.
Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, Galaxy
American Pie.
Galaxy
Bowfinger, Deuce Bigelow.
What?
Austin Powers, Big Daddy, Talented Mr. Ripley, Fight Club, Eyes Wide Shut. What the fuck? Did we realize what we had?
So many good films.
10 Things I Hate About You. She's All That. Fucking hell! This is an incredible list of movies.
People were just trying to get their movies in before the end of the century.
Go is a great movie.
Yeah, that's another forgotten.
That was Go was a movie that like you
great
could watch
soundtrack
and then watch it again. You know, like it had a good replayability because back in those days, it's like, you either did get it on a disc, but a lot of times you still were doing VHS, so you'd rewind it and watch it.
And then the Blair Witch Project came out in 1999.
Yep. Remember seeing
Summer of Sam, which I never saw, but had a phenomenal soundtrack, and there was all the Beatles songs, but done, covered by other people, and like
yes,
right, that's where Fiona Apple did.
Fiona Apple, Eddie Vedder.
Are you talking about the I Am Sam?
No, I Am Sam was 2003.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm thinking something else. Sorry, different thing. My fault.
Okay, because
great soundtrack nonetheless.
Sorry, the Eddie Vedder one. The Eddie Vedder
I
one.
I am right about Fiona Apple though.
Okay.
Fuck, man. 1999 was legit.
One of his,
and as your town's movie theater should do, is have this goddamn movie festival.
Yeah.
Wait, Matthew, where are you in Maine? I need to know this.
I am not in Maine.
I'm talking about Mr. Treist. American movie. Great documentary. It is for sure. But 1999, this is a legitimate year. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you forget just how many until you
that would be
what you're doing when you look back and you go geez.
That would be a good versus too.
That was back when
best movie
it cost you like $4 to go to the movie.
So because you'd have so many to pick from,
Right.
So like genre wise.
Fucking wild.
Yeah.
Oh, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow with Johnny Depp
and Christine Ricci.
Yeah.
Oh, that's something I started watching recently. Speaking of her, I never had Showtime or Paramount Plus until like a month ago.
Trees in New Hampshire.
And I got it just so I could watch Gentleman of Moscow, which is still very good. But I'd always been recommended Yellow Jackets. I'd never seen, didn't know what it was about, but people would be like, "Oh, you got to watch Yellow Jackets." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I started watching that. And it's one of those shows that I can only watch one episode at a time, and then I take a break because it's
Black Mirror level.
Yeah, it's like a lot.
It's like Black Mirror.
It's like a lot.
Black Mirror level.
Yeah,
it's like
movie,
what?
You remember the movie Alive? With the soccer team that gets stranded in the Andes. It's like that. And
rugby team.
But it's like, fuck, I don't want to watch teenage girls cannibalize
rugby,
people.
Not soccer. Just saying.
Sorry. Yeah.
Office Space is 99.
Fuck,
dude. I quote Office Space daily.
Office Space, yeah. Did you know that Swinline actually had to make the red stapler? Like they didn't actually make a red stapler.
No kidding.
They did that just for the movie. But then they made it after the movie because.
But then Boston Stapler is a far superior stapler. So.
I like a Mighty Bosch. Bosch. They make a good stapler. So. It's what I use on heavy duty stuff. So, or a Stanley if you prefer. Speaking of that, though, we were going to say a tight hour, and now we're at a tight hour plus and some change here. So we might as well finish this podcast out.
Just like on Prime Night, we're going to wrap it up.
We're going to wrap. And here's some flowers for you. Thanks for everybody that joined in the chat. We appreciate you joining us live. I know many of you were hoping that Jack was going to be here. I know the rest of you were wanting us to talk more Star Wars and Lego. But next time.
It's like no one asked for that, actually.
no one did. We did keep it to a small smidge there, Nick and I. But anyway, thanks for everybody that did join us in the chat. Appreciate it. We really do. And thanks for everybody that made this show possible, all the patrons.
Oh, nice. Sorry, just saw what Chris was showing us. Which
at
was
this
R2-D2
point,
Lego.
Yeah.
You got just for Mal.
ADHD.
Now, Chris, if you only had Darth Revan to go with him,
then they could make out.
I actually had that.
I'm getting him. He's coming with my little Star Destroyer, isn't he?
No, I'm talking about Revan. Like Revan was the that's Malak.
Oh, it's Malak. Sorry.
Yeah, you're getting Malak. Like Revan was Star Wars Day 2014 or 15 was the could only get it on May the 4th from Lego stores, and I have him somewhere. I buried in all my Lego, but
I just want the records to show that I did not bring up Lego
No,
or
you
Star
didn't.
Wars.
That was on Nick and I.
Yeah,
You're doing a really good job producing the show. However, trying to
pull this car over.
Yeah.
Okay, getting us there on time. Thanks a lot, Jack.
Thank you.
Anyway, thanks for joining us. Thanks for all the patrons that make this show possible. Specifically, we'd like to thank Eckhart Glatfelter, Richter. Thanks for doing what you do. Maggie the Magnificent. I hope you enjoyed the Star Wars talk we had today. Ed, the creepy poopy letter carrier, but I don't think you're that poopy. And Joanne with the master plan. Gonna take us into space, NASA style, 2010. Thank you, everyone. What else do we do? Say goodnight, folks.
Hasta luego.
And goodbye.
What's our Gmail? I forgot.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah, sure. If you want to write into us, we can read it on air. We didn't read any today because we
were leaving that for another day.
We were keeping it tight. Anyway, you can send us an email at rcadcast@gmail.com.
That's rcadcast@gmail.com.
Follow us on YouTube, like and subscribe. Appreciate it. And see you guys next week.
Peace. See ya.
Good evening.